Warzone 2 doesn't look that great out of the box, and so today we'll be fixing that because we're going to be showing you the best settings for the highest and most stable FPS while also having the game look absolutely incredible. Now, if you're already subbed to our channel, you might have seen our Modern Warfare 2 settings video, which absolutely dominated, and so some of these may look kind of familiar. But if you're not subbed, you might want to, because our next video is going to be a guide on how to get a Warzone nuke before it's too late. Less than 100 people have gotten the nuke in Warzone, making this operator the rarest character skin in the game. And be sure to watch all the way to the end because we do have some secret sauce settings that not too many people know about if you have an Nvidia GPU. Now, let's take a look at those settings. Starting off with display, you want to make sure that you're in full screen exclusive. Now, I know that some people like to stream, or if they're recording or have some type of other programs open, such as Spotify for listening to music, they may have it set to full screen borderless, but you really need to have it set to exclusive in order to have the highest and most stable frame rate. As you can see, I have my display monitor set for this game. I'm playing on a 3080 Ti and my screen refresh rate is 165 at 1440p. I have dynamic resolution turned off, while my aspect ratio is going to be set to auto. Gameplay as well as menu VSync, you want that turned off. And I have my custom frame rate limit set to 165, 60, and 30. If you have any sort of issues with your shaders, always make sure that this button right here, you can always go back to it and press it to restart your shaders. Display GAM I have set to the standard, which is 2.2 sRGB. Brightness you set up at the very beginning, and HDR is primarily for your monitor. I have this one set to just to automatic. Now in the quality tab, you can see that a lot of these settings are going to be fairly familiar. However, I have turned down my sharpening strength down to around 20. Previously, when I had it around 50, there was a little bit too much sharpening in the strongholds area, and so I have it set to 20. Anti-aliasing is super important for me to have this turned to the very lowest setting, because for some reason, if I have it set to filmic, it makes the game look super schmeary, and it just doesn't look good at all. I also have the anti-aliasing quality turned to low. Video memory scale, you want to have this close to max. That way you have the best optimization possible. This also can reduce the amount of stuttering in your game. However, the game crashes for everybody regardless of whether they've turned it lower or higher, so I would just have this set to max. All these settings are going to be very low or off. Bullet impacts and sprays, I have that one turned on, but everything else is going to be low, off, or minimum. Now the other one that I have turned set to high is spot cache. According to some people, having this one turned to high or ultra reduces the potential for stutters in your game when you're getting into gunfights, or if you're pulling your parachute or driving around or flying around. Now, having this set to higher ultra does impact your VRAM, so make sure you have a very decent GPU. Otherwise, you can have it set to lower medium. The rest of these settings, you can just have them lower off, except for Nvidia Reflex Low Latency. You want to make sure that one's set to on. Now, if you head over to view, I have my FOV set to max, ADS field of view set to affected, weapon field of view set to wide. That way I can kind of see more around my weapon. Third person field of view is maxed at 90, even though I don't play third person. And the vehicle field of view I have set to default. Have your first and third person camera movement set to least. These settings here are super important to reduce the amount of shakiness or visual recoil. And then these ones I have just kind of set to whatever the default was. Now we're going to go over to the interface tab. All this stuff is pretty much set to normal. I haven't really changed anything except for this feature right here, which is super, super awesome. If you go to the color customization tab, I have mine set to filter 2. Color filter target set to both. World and interface color intensity maxed out. And now I can have myself be blue, my teammates be green, and the enemy be red. And so on a mini map, this is kind of how it looked. This was super important in Modern Warfare 2, and in Warzone, it may not be as important, but I just have mine changed because if I'm going to grind out a weapon in Modern Warfare 2, I want to have this here anyway. Now, before we get into the secret sauce on how to make your game look even better, I want to give a massive shout out to the partner of this channel, Private Internet Access. A bunch of you have asked how you can play some Warzone with me, and so for every weekend until the rest of the year, we will be playing with PIA subs that have an active thin subscription via my exclusive discount. If you didn't know, Private Internet Access was rated the fastest VPN by PC Magazine, and using their WireGuard protocol, you can lower your ping while gaming. No, it will not give you bot lobbies, but you will be able to game with me on the weekends, as well as have a top-ranked VPN for watching shows and movies and staying secure online. To get that exclusive discount of 4 months free and 83% off, make sure to go to the link down in the description or go to piavpn.com/thin. Now let's get into the secret sauce. If you have an Nvidia GPU, then you're going to want to go to your Nvidia NVIDIA control panel and go to adjust desktop color settings and just copy all of these that I have right here. Now, obviously my monitor is probably going to be different from your monitor. Some panels will have some variances. And so for me, I like having my brightness at 55, contrast at 80, gamma slightly bumped up at 1.15, and digital vibrance bumped all the way up to 75. Now, if you think it looks a little bit too colorful, then you can reduce the contrast or the digital vibrance and have everything else the same, and it'll still look very, very solid. And last but not least, make sure to go to Nvidia GeForce and make sure that you're on the best driver possible for Modern Warfare 2 as well as Warzone 2. That one is currently 526.98. Obviously, if you're watching this video a few months from now, then this may have changed. For the time being, this is the most stable driver version, and this will give you the least amount of crashes. Now, before we get finished, double check, make sure you guys are subscribed with the bell turned on, because our next video is going to be the nuke guide as well as all of my keybinds for Warzone 2, and there's a lot there because there's a lot more controls, so I definitely want to show you guys that as well. We stream pretty much every single day over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thin. If you guys want to game with me for our sub games or PIA games, make sure to join our Discord, discord.gg/thin. Thank you so much for watching.